One tweet is enough to ruin your life in Saudi Arabia, to get you killed.
Everywhere they have their, the spy. The spy are everywhere.
They arrested my brothers, 2 of my brothers and a group of my friends. And then they killed Jamal.
Montreal is known for its long, brutal winters, and even here, Saudi activists are not beyond the reach of the cold, controlling grip of their regime. When Jamal Khashoggi was executed and allegedly dismembered by a hit squad inside Saudi Arabia's consulate in Istanbul 2 months ago, a collective shiver was felt among opponents of the regime. The man accused of involvement in his murder, de facto ruler Mohammed bin Salman, here meeting Theresa May, apparently had several activists in his crosshairs.
We just have to keep fighting.
One of them is Omar Abdulaziz, now holed up in a Montreal hotel. After coming to Canada as a student, he began hosting a popular satirical program on YouTube called Sedition. His student scholarship was cancelled after he incurred the wrath of the Saudi government by mocking its leaders and human rights record. He corresponded closely with Khashoggi, discussing ways to counter what they called the Saudi Cyber Patrol Army, labelling them as the flies.
I've been attacked and criticized by the flies.
Saying Khashoggi referred to MBS as a beast, they faced an onslaught of online threats. And Omar says he later learnt his phone was being hacked, he believes, by the Saudi authorities. This summer, a few months before Khashoggi's killing, Omar says he was approached by 2 representatives of Mohammed bin Salman, known as MBS. They travelled to meet him in Montreal with one of his brothers.
They were saying that we do have a message from MBS, and he really wants you to be here in Saudi Arabia. He reads your tweets, and he watches your videos, and he really likes you.
They met at this cafe, talks over coffee and cakes, secretly recorded by Omar.
We do have a message from MBS. He says that I got your back. So I asked him one question. I said, what makes me special? Not to be jailed like them. He said, no, it's completely different story with you. You don't have to worry about it.
Just as Khashoggi was allegedly told to go to Istanbul's Saudi consulate, so too Omar was told to visit the Saudi embassy in Ottawa.
They've tried the same with me. They were trying to convince me to go back to the embassy in May 2018, but I refused to go there. And Jamal told me not to go there. by the way, yeah. He said, no, you don't have to. They can do it while you're staying home.
The men and Omar's brother returned to Saudi Arabia without him. He says revenge was swift.
I didn't cooperate with them when I didn't go to the embassy with them. A few months later, 15 armed men entered our house in Saudi Arabia. They took 2 of my brothers. And then they killed Jamal.
According to international human rights groups, many Saudi activists, including several women, have been detained and tortured in Daban prison.
One of the worst prisons in Saudi Arabia.
Omar says his brother is among them.
And now they're torturing him because he's my brother. They used like electric stuff to shock him.
Activists in the United States say they too are still being targeted following Khashoggi's killing. Abdullah AlAwliya fled here to Washington, D.C. last year. His father Salman, a prominent cleric with 14 million Twitter followers, has been imprisoned for criticizing the government and may even face the death penalty. Abdullah says he recently learned that his name is on a dissident hit list and that Khashoggi's name was there too.
Somebody called me and he said, we have a news that your name is on that list.
On several occasions, Abdullah shared a platform with Khashoggi. Now he says the Saudi government has hit back, freezing his consular services, withholding a new passport, telling him to go home.
They frankly refused to renew my passport, and they asked me to go back to Saudi Arabia. They said my services are frozen in the kingdom. It's like I do not exist.
60 to 80,000 Saudi students in the United States.
Ali Al-Ahmed is a Saudi journalist in exile. Like Abdullah, he says he's seen how the Saudi state has cut scholarships among its students in Washington as a way of trying to silence even the mildest dissent.
You're talking about hundreds of them who have not gotten their passport renewed and their scholarship cut. They have the fear of that they will end up in prison. Right now, if you go to prison, you're going to prison for a long time and you'll be tortured or maybe even executed. It's like Saddam's approach. This is, your cousin was in this dissident, then you are a dissident.
It's alleged that the crackdown is being conducted through the Saudi embassy in Washington. This diplomatic mission is also accused of playing a part in the plot to lure Khashoggi to Istanbul.
Jamal Khashoggi was sent to Turkey from here. Here they told him to go to Turkey to finish his paperwork because his wife is Turkish and she lives there, so it has to be that consulate. This Saudi embassy told him that, and they are responsible. Have you? So
that was planned.
That's of course the Saudi council who told Mr. Khashoggi to go to Turkey. He's still here. He's not been asked any questions. He's not been summoned.
The ambassador to Washington is Mohammed bin Salman's brother, Khaled. Now back in Saudi Arabia, he's rejected the accusation that he told Khashoggi to go to Turkey, tweeting this statement. But Omar insists he played a key role.
They knew that Jamal was trying to get some papers, so they could convince him to go to Turkey, basically. Even the ambassador, he knew it. Some people also told me that you can get these documents online. You don't have to visit any consulate or embassy. So it was planned.
Spying are everywhere, not only, especially in students.
Haroon is among several Saudis now seeking asylum in Canada because of growing concerns over security in the US. He previously worked at the Saudi consulate in Houston, Texas, and says he's witnessed the ongoing intimidation campaign firsthand.
One of a student in America, he called me and he said that my scholarship is, they canceled my scholarship. They just heard me in the college talking about politics. So they called him and they said, you have to go back to Saudi Arabia.
The student in question refused to go back and is now seeking asylum, joining a widening group of vocal opponents in exile.
It's not about my brothers and friends. It's about thousands of prisoners in Saudi Arabia. I'm not going to stop. Even if they release my brothers and friends today, tonight, I'm not going to stop doing what I'm doing.